Vivek Ramaswamy. It's striking how many of my left-leaning friends chafe at the America First MAGA label, yet quietly agree we need to stop funding pointless wars, seal the southern border, take better care of our veterans, reduce government bureaucracy, and increase American energy production. I 1000% agree with that. There's a lot of people in the middle that agree with all those things. Now, maybe they don't love Donald Trump, but they agree with almost everything he just said. Here's where he loses me. So basically, this, what's his name? Jack Posobiec. I know he's a big right-wing media guy. He says, thinking about when Taylor Swift called out the Soros family in 2019 for buying the rights to her music, and then how she came out as super liberal in 2020. And Vivek Ramaswamy responds, I wonder who's going to win the Super Bowl next month. And I wonder if there's a major presidential endorsement coming from an artificially, culturally propped up couple this fall. Just some wild speculation over here. Let's see how it ages over the next 8 months. This is where the Trumpers lose me. So now the Super Bowl is fixed and it's a fake relationship. By the way, to me, this isn't fringe. When Vivek Ramaswamy, you know this on right-wing media, everybody's talking about this. Everybody's tweeting about it. Everybody's hating on Taylor Swift. I find it funny. Every time I see that on Twitter, somebody ripping on Taylor Swift, I go to their Twitter profile and they're just the most political right-wing person. Everything is political.
Right.
With so, I mean, it's a fake relationship. You know, it's not because Patrick Mahomes is good. He might be the best quarterback in the history of football. He's already won 2 Super Bowls. No, everything is fixed so that this endorsement for Joe Biden will put them over the top. And that's why Travis Kelce did some type of ad for the vaccine, and Taylor Swift's a liberal. Like, this is where they lose me on the crazy conspiracy stuff, which I think is too mainstream on the right, in my opinion.
Oh, that is one of the big developments of social media and the modern times is the rise of conspiracy theories that are, some of which are just crazy, becoming more and more mainstream. It happens on both sides, to be fair, but you're right. It's definitely more prevalent on the right. And the biggest one, the most prominent one, is the one we talked about last week, the election being stolen, and how many people have come to believe something that isn't true because of this online environment. And this is yet another example. And those 2 tweets are interesting because conservatives, and Donald Trump in particular, I talked about his political instincts. He's done a good job of redefining the Republican Party in a way that makes it much more appealing to working class voters, which is why more and more working class voters are voting Republican. And there are issues there that he can run on. But then the problem is that meal is combined with a side of the crazy. And there's a lot of the crazy. And sometimes the side becomes almost the main dish. It's like, yeah, so the NFL is fixed now. I mean, come on. I honestly wonder, I'm not sure if, because this is not the first time Vivek dabbled in, conspiracy theories. If you follow his campaign, I wonder, because he's obviously a very smart guy. And with him and other people like that who are intelligent, who are sophisticated, I wonder when I read these things if they really believe this or if they just know it's going to get them clicks and attention. And sometimes I'm not sure. Sometimes I think maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe they kind of believe it or they think it could be true, but really what they want is the clicks and the attention. I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah, but Vivek knows better. That's why maybe I'm asking too much from my politicians, but he knows better. He knows that's not true. To me, that's just lowest common denominator. You can. Yeah. That's why I brought up the other tweet. You can agree with all of the good stuff about America First or the MAGA, all those good policies that a lot of people in the middle agree with. You can just go there. You don't have to also do all the crazy conspiracy theory stuff. And that's why Vivek, to me personally, and look, this will be the second time I bring up Bill Maher. The first time I ever saw Vivek, I'd never heard of the dude in my life. He was on Real Time about 1.5 years ago. I think it was summer of 22, probably August, September. Here's this young dude, energy. And I'm telling you, Eric, and this is where I always give Bill Maher credit. He always has people from the right on, and usually early, before I've ever heard of these people. So basically, Vivek Ramaswamy sits on the panel, and those panels probably last 25, 30 minutes, whatever it is. I'm telling you, I couldn't tell you if he was a Democrat or Republican. And that's the biggest compliment I can give someone. I watched him for 30 minutes. It's 1.5 years ago. Everything he said made sense. everything was reasonable. Everything was just, yeah, that makes sense. It's common sense. But then you get into the political machine. You become part of the machine, even if you have good intentions at first. And then you turn to the guy who's tweeting the Super Bowl is fixed because of George Soros and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Taylor
And
Swift.
that's cuckoo. You're being cuckoo. He doesn't believe
Yeah.
that. And I think it's worse. It's worse when you know you don't believe it and
Right.
you still throw the red meat out there. I think that's way worse than the ignorant person, because there's some Congress people that actually believe that stuff. I don't think
Right.
Vivek really believes that. He's too smart. That makes it worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's true. He's worse than somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I think probably really did believe, some of the
That's what I was
QAnon
thinking
stuff.
of.
Yeah, that she has since disavowed. I agree with you. It is worse, and it's one of the really sad developments of our culture and our politics in recent years. And I think it is the biggest problem for the MAGA movement to ever become the mainstream governing movement of this country. Like, the MAGA movement has made incredible progress at taking over the majority of the Republican Party. But to get to the next level and really because remember, the thing about Donald Trump is he won in 2016, lost the popular vote, but he won the Electoral College. That's what matters. Since then, MAGA has been a loser. He got crushed in the midterms in 2018, lost 40 seats in the House. In 2020, he ran for re-election as an incumbent and lost. And because of him and his actions after the election, lost 2 Senate seats in Georgia in runoffs that cost the Republicans the Senate. Then in 2022, Republicans did not do anywhere close to as well as they should have in a midterm. They couldn't win the Senate. They barely won the House when they were projected to win dozens of seats. And a lot of those, not all, but a lot of those candidates that lost were Trump candidates that he backed and handpicked, and they won primaries because of his endorsement. So MAGA as an electoral coalition has been since 2016 largely a loser, even though, as you point out, on some of these issues, they have strong support. They have people that would agree with kind of the MAGA position on not all, but on many issues. And the reason is because of this conspiracy theory, crazy bullshit that people look at this and they say, this is just nuts. This is chaos. And look, the Taylor Swift NFL fix thing, that's harmless for the most part. It's crazy, but it's harmless. But what's not harmless is the post-election stuff, trying to overturn the election, January 6th, QAnon, which is like a cousin of this stuff. It's a more, lethal form of it. It's a far worse thing, but it's in that same ballpark of this craziness. And people don't want that. And that's the argument Nikki Haley makes. She's making it now. She should have been making it months ago, but she's making it now, not to the degree I'm making it. I want to be clear. But she's saying there's chaos with Donald Trump. There's all of this stuff that comes along with it. Let's turn the page on that. You can still have these policies you like without all of this. But what's happened is people want that. Whatever that is that Trump is selling, that Vivek also sells, the base, the MAGA movement, wants that. They don't just want the policy. They want the policy with a little bit of conspiracy and craziness on the side, because they have a chance with Nikki Haley to get not all the policies they want, but most of them. And they're we'll see what happens, South Carolina Super Tuesday, but they're rejecting that. And they're going with MAGA despite the losses that I, just laid out in recent years.
The crazy is where they lose me. And maybe I'd never go over, I don't know, but I think people like me. Look, I'm a white dude from Missouri who drives a truck.
Wait.
I have a beard, right? If you can't get me, but I'm saying, it is the crazy. I just can't attach myself. And just so people know, I don't want Joe Biden to run either. I'm more of a non-party person than I've ever been in my life, because there's so much just craziness on both sides. I don't want to attach myself to either of them.